We believe that complex networks are at the heart of almost every one of our modern scientific challenges. For example, the resilience of our critical infrastructure. It is just a complex network of components that interact with one another. The biological processes within our cells. It's 20,000 genes that interact through a complex network of chemical and biological interactions. Our brain is 100 billion neurons that interact through a complex network. And of course, society, 7 billion individuals that interact through social ties and pass on information, economic transactions, and as we all know, also viruses. Network science is a pretty new science. It was born at the turn of the century. It's roughly 25 years old. And over these 25 years, we've made great strides in understanding the structure of these complex networks. My lab wants to leverage everything we know about network structure into understanding its actual dynamic behavior. What are the roots of stability of our infrastructure? How do ecological systems respond to a specific extinction? And what will the cell do when we intervene through a drug that targets a specific gene? Our goal is to predict, understand, and ultimately we want to influence the behavior of complex networks. So it's about predicting the spread of a blackout, but also about designing interventions to mitigate that spread. Should we shut down specific stations in order to mitigate an ongoing blackout? How do we mitigate the spread of an ongoing epidemic? How do we intervene in an ecological system that has collapsed and by just controlling specific species, try to revive it back to activity? So we want to predict, understand, and ultimately influence the behavior of our complex networks. One of the things that's clear about network science is that it is extremely cross-disciplinary. We take tools from physics and math and apply them to social systems and biological systems, and it requires an open mind. And I have to say that Bar-Ilan has embraced this science. It was open. I found an extremely diverse and exciting ecosystem in which we can really pursue these ideas that don't belong to physics, don't belong to math, don't belong to biology, don't belong to sociology, but in some way they belong to all of these sciences together. Science has always been about reduction, how to understand the components. We want to understand every nook and cranny of a neuron, or want to understand precisely how a gene works. But network science takes a bird's eye view. It supersedes the components. It doesn't just talk about how neurons operate or how genes operate or how individual humans operate, but how a society emerges and how a brain is created from the interactions between 100 billion neurons, or even how a cell emerges from 20,000 genes. This bird's eye view, I think, is the secret to understanding not how the components react, but how the system functions.